may happen that the world's never seen before.
Hello everybody, and welcome to a new segment about the most horrifying parts of anime. This is Backstory. Case number OP2, Bartholomew Kuma. For the purposes of training, these files have been unredacted. Therefore, afterwards, all personnel viewing this are required to report to Subject BM-76, codename Pudding, for memory reassignment surgery. The birth of Bartholomew Kuma. Bartholomew Kuma was a large boy born in the Sorbet Kingdom in the South Blue to two loving parents. He was a part of the Buccaneer race, a race of humans who were unnaturally large, resilient, strong, and feared greatly by the world government, who ceaselessly oppressed them. At a very early age, Kuma and his parents were captured and enslaved on Marijois, and Kuma's mother was quickly separated from them and later killed. In order to ease the pain and comfort his son, Kuma's father told him of another one of our subjects, sun god Nika, a warrior of liberation said to free slaves and bring smiles to the oppressed. Side note, some Elbathians also believe that he is a purported destroyer of worlds, although no evidence of such destructive tendencies has been observed at this time. While demonstrating the iconic Nika dance and singing to what most believers call the drums of liberation, Kuma's father is immediately shot dead due to annoying a nearby celestial dragon. The God Valley Incident. Bartholomew Kuma was transported, along with many other slaves, to the non-existent island of God Valley. He was labeled as a top prize for the Celestial Dragon's human hunt due to his buccaneer blood. Not much is known about what happened to him on that island, but let's just say, we have our sources, darling. Wink. Kuma very soon met Emporio Ivankov and Ginny, who had devised a plan to escape from the island. Unbeknownst to them, a celestial dragon was about to shoot Kuma, but was saved by a subject who has eluded our capture for years, Monkey D. Dragon. Kuma and Ivankov break into the prize room to look for devil fruits. They are nearly stopped by case number OP-1, Charlotte Big Mom Lin. But Kuma ingests the pawpaw fruit, turning him into a repelling human. This fruit is able to repel, teleport, and remove anything or anyone the user wishes to anywhere the user wishes at extremely high speeds. It can even remove vague concepts like pain, memories, and potentially even emotions. Kuma uses the ability to evacuate over 500 human hunt victims, including Eris, the wife of notorious pirate Davy Rox D. Zebek, and their son, Davy Marshall D. Teach, better known as the mythical, extremely elusive Captain Blackbeard. Kuma is then confronted by his future nemesis, a Keter-class subject who willingly assists us, one of the world's overseers, Saint J. Garcia Saturn. Saturn tells Kuma that due to his buccaneer blood, he is destined to be a slave and die. Kuma then teleports himself, Ivankov, and Ginny back to the Sorbet Kingdom. The Sorbet Kingdom. For the next 15 years, Bartholomew Kuma and Ginny remained in the Sorbet Kingdom, while Emporio Ivankov goes off to seek his fortune and eventually become one of the lead officers in the Revolutionary Army, which was called the Freedom Fighters at that time. During this time, Kuma and Ginny have a fairly peaceful life. They grow together, and Ginny quickly falls in love with Kuma. Kuma rejects her frequent proposals of marriage due to not wanting his buccaneer heritage to affect future generations. He continued to be the priest of a small church in the southern region. During this time, he was using his fruit to remove the pains of the elderly at the cost of his own health, as due to the specifications of his devil fruit, all pain removed had to be suffered by someone, or else it would return to its original owner. One day, due to wanting to reduce the heavenly tribute or world government tax, King Bakori completely removes the southern region from the Sorbet Kingdom and makes it a lawless zone, and people are frequently abused and captured by the guards and imprisoned. Hearing this, Kuma rages and overthrows King Bakori, being selected by the freed people as their next king. He appoints an old lady named Connie to be the figurehead queen while he continues being a priest. A few years later, King Bakori returns with the might of the world government, and Kuma and Ginny are captured. They are immediately freed by the freedom fighters led by Monkey D. Dragon and Emporio Ivankov. They join immediately, and Kuma quickly becomes the third head of the newly minted Revolutionary Army. The Revolutionary Army. Kuma and Ginny continue working as officers in the Revolutionary Army. Ginny rises to the rank of leader of the Eastern Forces. One day, without warning, she is suddenly kidnapped by a celestial dragon and taken to Marejua to be a celestial dragon's 8th wife. Kuma is understandably devastated by this news and asks Dragon to help, but Dragon says that they cannot risk the forces of the Revolutionary Army to go and save one person. Ginny is raped and abused by the celestial dragons and experimented on by St. J. Garcia Saturn, being given a terminal illness called sapphire scales, which makes sapphires emerge from your skin when you're exposed to sunlight until you die. She gave birth to a baby which was injected with the juice of the age devil fruit. Jewelry Bonney. A couple years later, Kuma receives a message via transponder snail from Ginny saying that she had returned to the Sorbet Kingdom, but that she is about to die. Kuma immediately teleports there to hold her in her final moments, where she reveals that she has a baby girl and asks Kuma to be the father and raise her. This baby is named Jewelry Bonney. Kuma raises Bonney for the next 8 years. It is quickly discovered that Bonney also has the same sapphire scales disease as her mother, passed down. Due to this, she is kept inside of the church in the dark most of the time, but her and Kuma spend many happy years together, and he in turn passes down the legend of sun god Nika. Together, they dreamed of going out to travel the world once Bonney turned 10 years old. Although Kuma had been informed she would die due to the disease before then. King Bakori returns again and is defeated. Kuma attacks some Navy ships and is branded a pirate, leaving the island. He leaves Bonney to be raised by Connie and all of the elderly folk. During this time, Kuma searches the world for any doctor that would be able to heal his daughter. Almost at the end of his rope, Dragon informs him of a man named Dr. Vegapunk, who has the brain fruit and is known as the smartest man in the entire world. Kuma and Bonney travel to Dr. Vegapunk, who informs them that he is a government-affiliated scientist and must consult with his higher-ups in order to help a pirate. Saturn's Deal. St. J. Garcia Saturn is contacted and proposes a deal. Dr. Vegapunk may heal Kuma's daughter on the conditions that Kuma becomes a cyborg warlord of the sea and works for the world government, completely leaving the Revolutionary Army, and greatest of all, gives up his entire consciousness, free will, and all of his memories in order to become an unthinking, unfeeling, completely obedient robot slave to the world government. Saturn also stipulates that he is to be outfitted with a kill switch, so that if he ever disobeys, that he can immediately be shut down and immobilized. Kuma, willing to do anything for his daughter, gladly agrees to the deal. Kuma's final years. Over the course of the next 2 months, Bonney is cured, Kuma begins his cyborg treatments, and along with Sentomaru and then Vice Admiral Kizaru, Borsellino, assists in the construction of Egghead Island and Dr. Vegapunk's lab. There are many nights of happiness and giant pizza eaten, and Kuma and Bonney teach all of them about the legend of Nika, and they do the Nika dance together. During this time, he also became the model for Dr. Vegapunk's robot clone army called the Pacifista, as they were intended to be used to pacify piracy across the world. Finally, the day comes for Kuma and Bonney to part. She is sent back to the Sorbet Kingdom, where she is watched over by a member of Cypherpol 8, Alepha, who was extremely abusive and destroyed every letter that Kuma sent Bonney over the next 2 years. She was comforted by Connie and the other elderly folk in the church. Kuma's legacy. During the 2 years that he was slowly getting his body augmented into a cyborg, Dragon revealed to Kuma that he had a son in the East Bloom named Monkey D. Luffy, but firmly stood on the belief that children make you weak. Kuma would frequently go and spy on the boy to see how he was coming along, because he had noticed that the boy had powers that were similar to the legend of sun god Nika. Kuma decided to put his faith in this boy and watch over him. At 10 years old, Jewelry Bonney, through the help of the people of the Sorbet Kingdom, escaped from Alepha and set out to sea as a pirate. Using her age fruit power, she disguised herself as a 22-year-old adult woman, searching across the world for her father and growing in notoriety as a fearsome supernova pirate who was able to turn people into babies or the elderly. Thriller Bark. About 5 months after this point in time, Kuma was sent by the world government to Thriller Bark when they had been informed that Monkey D. Luffy was currently fighting the warlord of the sea, Gecko Moria. He arrived just as Moria was defeated in order to capture Luffy in a weakened state, dead or alive. Being confronted by the Straw Hat Pirates, he proceeded to release a gigantic air weapon created by using his fruit to hyper-compact the air in a bubble and release it all at once. This was an island-size attack known as the Ursus Shock. All of these Straw Hat Pirates were rendered unconscious after this attack, save for one Roronoa Zoro. Zoro still stood to oppose Kuma and offered his life in exchange for his captains. Kuma agreed to this and removed all of Monkey D. Luffy's pain from his fight with Moria, encasing it inside a large paw-shaped bubble. He then offered the pain to Roronoa Zoro, who accepted it and miraculously survived. The Sabati Incident. 2 weeks after Thriller Bark, Kuma traveled to the Sabati Archipelago to look in on Bonney and see how she was doing without her knowing. While he was there, he was alerted that Monkey D. Luffy had punched a celestial dragon in the face at the auction house and that Admiral Kizaru was being sent to the island to deal with the situation. Kuma destroyed a pacifista. He then separated all of the Straw Hats, teleporting them to different islands, which was mistaken for instantly killing them. He did this to save them from Kizaru and keep them safe, as they were not prepared to face the intense dangers of the new world. He then remained by their ship and protected it from harm, becoming completely dormant. He would remain there until Frankie returned to the ship 2 years later. The death of Bartholomew Kuma. After the incident on Sabati Archipelago and the passage of 2 years, it was finally time for Kuma to completely relinquish his free will and consciousness. With tears streaming down his face, Dr. Vegapunk completely shut off and in essence killed the man who was Bartholomew Kuma. The Reverie. For the next 2 weeks, Kuma was brought to Marishwa and made a rideable slave for one of the celestial dragons, constantly having swords stabbed into his body, but unable to react or do anything at all. Sabo, the chief of staff of the Revolutionary Army, rescued him after obtaining the flame fruit in the Karaida Coliseum on Dressrosa and brought him back to their base on Momoiro Island, the Kamabaka Queendom, where he was partially repaired by Lindbergh, the South Army commander and an inventor. Egghead Island. A couple of weeks later, Kuma suddenly and without warning stood up and left Momoiro Island, teleporting himself in the direction of the Red Line, which he crashed into. He then proceeded to climb all the way up the Red Line and attack Marijois. He unleashed an Ursa shock and had a narrow skirmish with Fleet Admiral Akenu Sakazuki. He then once again teleported himself all the way to Egghead Island. Just as St. J. Garcia Saturn was about to murder Jewelry Bonney, he arrived and saved her, after which he proceeded to deliver a devastating haymaker punch directly into Saturn's face. Being seemingly irreparably damaged, he then ceased all movement and was carried to safety by the Straw Hats. Current whereabouts. Bartholomew Kuma, the government asset, is currently suspected to be on Elbath Island. It is hypothesized that he will either be repaired by the remaining satellite personality of Dr. Vegapunk, Lilith, or he will live out his remaining life spending time and traveling the world with his loving daughter Jewelry Bonney, as that was his greatest wish. This briefing has been completed. Please report immediately to subject BM-76 for redaction protocol, and remember, nothing happened. Hello everybody, AfroX here. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell us what you would like to see in the next video. Check us out on Patreon at www.patreon.com/AfroX. A shout out to our mythical patron, Calvin C., and our legendary patron, Trix, the Anime Hater.